The FF7 Rebirth demo just shadow dropped on Switch 2, and the full game is coming out June 3rd. Listen, I'm not here to talk about the game's performance or fidelity on Switch 2, I'll leave that to Digital Foundry. I'm here to spread the FF7 Remake series propaganda and explain why you should play this game. So first off, let's just get the bias out the way. FF7 Remake and Rebirth are currently my favorite games of all time, and will probably stay that way unless they mess up Part 3's story. And if that last sentence doesn't really make sense to you, it's probably because you're under the impression that FF7 Remake is actually a remake. So before I get into it, here's my suggestion. If you've never played these games before, go play the demo for FF7 Remake. And if you really like it, play the full game. But heads up, there's probably gonna be some parts that will be confusing. Then, if you can stomach it, go back and play the original FF7. If you can't get into the game because of the graphics or combat, then at least watch a recap of the story. After that, watch the Advent Children complete movie. Then play Crisis Core Reunion, and then, if you can stomach doing it again, replay FF7 Remake, because that's when you'll start noticing things aren't exactly how they should be. And then, finally, play Rebirth. And after you've spent a stupid amount of time doing all that, come back to this video. No, I'm joking. Kind of, but not really. In all seriousness, I'm making this video because I think Part 3 is closer than people think. We still haven't seen a trailer, and technically the game hasn't even been properly announced yet. We don't even know the name. But I personally wouldn't be surprised if Square has deliberately held off on the marketing to give people who don't have a PS5 or PC time to get their hands on Rebirth and play it before they really start showing what comes next. That's also why I wouldn't be shocked if, when we do finally see Part 3, assuming it will be at Summer Games Fest, the first reveal is going to be pretty restrained, because if people are just now getting access to Rebirth on Switch 2, they probably don't want to show too much too soon. They like to save all the spoilers for the final trailer before launch. If you know, you know. But anyway, back on track. I say all that to say this. While Square Enix might say you can enjoy the whole FF7 experience with just the remake games, I half reject that. You might be able to enjoy it. I for sure know I enjoyed Remake, and it was my first FF7 game, but you won't fully understand it. Also, they even said you can just jump into Rebirth as a standalone game without playing Remake beforehand. Like, come on, bro. I get why they probably have to say that, but let's be real. What I'm trying to say is that if you really want to understand the full scope of what this trilogy is doing and what's probably about to happen in Part 3, I really do think you need all that extra context. And that takes time, a lot of time. Even for me, as soon as we get that release date, I'm basically gonna have to not play anything except FF7 stuff until Part 3 comes out. Because that's the real point here. Getting fully caught up on FF7 is not some casual weekend thing. It's a real time commitment. And if Part 3 is potentially less than a year away, depending on your life, responsibilities, and how much free time you actually have, that matters. And that's really why I'm making this video now. Not because I care about starting platform wars over the Switch 2 version, and not because I need to argue about resolution or frame rate. I'm making it because if you've ever had that thought of, yeah, I'll get to FF7 eventually is starting to run out. Because this series is not as simple as some people think it is, and getting fully caught up before Part 3, I think takes a lot more time than people realize. So if you've been curious, if you've been putting it off, if you've been waiting for the right time to jump in, this is probably it.
I'm waiting, Cloud.